Hello traders, welcome to this training session. We're going to be recapping the T20 on today's markets. We're going to be looking at the NQ 133 tick and also the ES 1000 volume. Now remember, the T20 works on all time frames and all markets. So let's get down to business. We're in this business to make money, and for most of us we want to make a lot of money. Now the compounding effect of earning $400 per contract is an incredible rate of return. So how can we achieve that? Well, if we consider, say, the NQ for a moment, the NQ trades at $5 a tick. So if we get say 21 ticks of profit, less brokerage of about, let's just say $5 one tick, that's $100 per trade, 4 trades a day, and we're there. Or you can look at, say, around 6 trades at 14 ticks, whichever way you want to do it. You go and look at the ES, and the ES, if you're going for 6 ticks, that's $75 divided into $400. How many do we need? About 6 or 7 trades, winning trades there. So one of the best ways for us to achieve our profit targets is, of course, to get into a trend as early as possible. So the T20, I've spoken to my students many times about, and we have a cheat sheet out on that, and I'm about to do a more detailed training video and cheat sheet on the T20. But basically it's a very simple concept, and it's an incredible tool when you implement it in your trading. And you know, one of the great things I gain personally from training traders and working with traders every day is you really get me to think outside the square. That is, I suppose, a constant thing I receive every day is, can you break it down more? How simple can we make it? So I'm always looking at, how can I really simplify the process for you learning how to master trading? Because after 20 odd years and thousands upon thousands of trade executions, I suppose some of it just has really become reflex action for me. And so you really make me stretch at times in thinking, how can I make this easier for you? And that's really where the T20 has really developed from, has really come from. So before we go to the charts, I want to go to the charts and show you some real examples here. Of course, if you're new to my videos, please read and understand the risk. Of course, you don't trade with the rent money, and you have to gain the right education. It's all about the right education and not using the rent money. Please go to full screen down on the right hand side here. You can pop up the full screen. So if we look at my style of trading, and for my students, you hear me talk about this in virtually every training session, I take on, when I trade, the mantra, if you like, or the persona of being a sniper. I'm patient, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm a sniper. One shot, one kill. Does it meet the rules? And in our business, we know that over 90% of trading really is psychology. 5% is only money management, and 5% is the trading strategy itself. And as you hear me say, there are literally dozens of trading strategies that really do work, but what lets them down in nearly all cases is us, is the trader. So what I'm about to show you, applied correctly, it can be huge for you. But you need to apply the discipline. You need to be focused. You need to be patient. Now, of course, all of this is in my fast track program. If you haven't already invested in a program, please go to my website to find out more about it, and also to get my free trendsetter cheat sheets, the training video, and a whole lot of other goodies. Go on my email list and you'll be kept up to date. But most importantly, what keeps me funded as far as funding to do the training is people buying the course, and it's only $197, so it's peanuts for what you get. But anyway, I don't want to make this into a big long ad, because I want to show you some really exciting stuff here on the charts. So if we think here, okay, 4 21 tick trades, or it might be 6 trades a day, whatever your target. Now, by the way, it's okay if your target's only $100 a day. You can become very wealthy compounding at $100 a day per contract. So whatever it is, but let's have a look at whatever your financial target is. How can you achieve that? So for my current students, we're going to ignore the T2s and a lot of the other trade setups that we can see that we've got. And I suppose that's the beauty, because this easily works in with your current trend. So what we're looking at the T20 is, of course, where we have a crossover of our blue and our 34. So we can see here we had a signal here to go long. Okay, now let's talk about going totally mechanical. That is, every time we get a crossover, either short the market or you go long. Now, here are the days or today's approximate statistics. I just went and did a quick tally. So today is the it is here in Australia Tuesday the 17th. So this is the action from the 17th or the 16th for my colleagues in the USA. In total, there on the NQ133 tick, there are approximately 44 trades today, 22 with trend and 22 counter trend. Now, with the trading with the trend, which I'll explain those in a moment, there were 19 winners and only 3 losses. Counter trends with this particular market today, it was 50-50. And there are some little tricks that I won't go into on this video to really put you on the right side of a ledger with the counter trend trades as well. Now on the ES, and before we go to the ES charts, today there was approximately 47 trades here. Once again, 21 winners if you took the trend only trades, 3 losses. Or the counter trends, there were 13 wins for 10 losses. So not good stats, but that's taking everyone blindly. Now remember, this is a very mechanical way of trading. So what we want to do here is to be following the 30, and here this is Monday morning's action. The market gapped, as we can see here, we gapped right down for Monday morning, or Sunday in the USA. We bounced off a pivot. We had a trade to go long, short trade to go long. And you can see here when you get into these trades, and you'd stay along here because you can see your blue line is above the 34. You had a little short trade. Now this is for my students, this is one of your counter trends. Okay, you can see here we're going against the 89. So what we classify the trend is the 34 and the 89 trending up. So that means we should or our best statistics are going to be obviously long trades only. So we can see here we had a little loss. We had a signal here to go short, and it was barely a signal, but I've just counted that. You may not even have taken that, but if you just took for the long side, bang, thank you, counter trend, okay, and you had another loss here, then finally it paid off the counter trend and away it went. So let me explain this. You hear me talk about regularly that the more trades that you have in a trend, the more likely you are to have a change in trend. So be very cautious in taking counter trend trades with the T20 until you've had a number of rejections or failures in the market. So that was a really nice winner. Now if you look at these, you can see these really run really well. This is where you want to really watch it, is where you're close to your 89. Now see here, you got the 89 here, counter trend, finally we break through. Okay, we can see here of course we have we've got 34 bounces here, 89 bounces. So by the way students, lovely 34 bounce, 34 bounce, 34 bounce. Now here we have a T20 again. So where would, if you decide to take this, where's your target going to be? Your 89, of course, because we know that the 89 is very strong support resistance with trend. Okay, so that's a counter trend because you're going up against your 89 with trend. You're going against it again, but here after a number of failures, and there are some other little tricks, you're going to take those. Now if you're not sure, here's what you do. You wait for it to go through, you don't take it, and you wait for your first pullback to either take your first T2 T25 or a T1. So traders, that is the trick here. So to confirm these moves, that is the first trade in a new trend is going to return, of course, the highest return of any other trade. So here, if you're not sure, because you can see here that failed, is this one going to fail and roll over and run down? Not sure. Don't take it on the crossover. Wait for a pullback and wait for either a T2 or a T1 or even a T25. Now I had a student live in a moment. I'll show you what we were marking up this morning with the trades. Okay, so you can see here you are romping 21 to 40 ticks in on these trades. Finally, you've got a counter trend trade here. You can see what happens here. You bounce on the 89 again. So you can see here we've got 89 bounce trades. Crossover, here's your trade again. Counter trend, you bounce. Okay, finally we break through. Now if you're not sure if this one's going to break through, what do you do? Because you've already had a couple of failures. You wait for your first pullback and you wait for your first T2 or T1 or other signals. Once again, you're romping your 21 ticks in. Now this is where counter trend failed, counter trend failed. Once again, your stops above here. So with your with trend at T20, you're laughing. So here, what do? Well, we know 89 is right up here. So, and this is a counter trend trade technically, so we don't take it, but we wait for our first pullback. Then we get what? A perfect T2, and away it goes. Now what I've done is just done the stats on just taking every single one of them, as I mentioned. That is where we have a clear cross through, okay, of the 8 and the 34, and it kills it. So just let me scroll along here. Once again, you're bouncing off the 89, but you're with trends, with trend, counter trend, with trend. You're with trend trades. It is when you're following the 34 and the 89, you're doing brilliantly with these. Okay, so you've broken through. Now is this going to bounce off the 89? You don't know. So it goes through, and then what do we get? We get an 89 bounce, 34 bounce, 34 bounce, 89 bounce. You would have been stopped on this one, unfortunately, but then you get an 89 200 bounce. So if we go along here, when I was doing a training session this morning, these, by the way, traders, we were marking up T25s, T25. A lot of these T25s, by the way, turn into the 34 bounces and the T1s. What the T25s allow you to do is to have a really small stop, and it gets you in a lot earlier. Okay, so you can see here we absolutely killed it today. It was a brilliant day. Now let me get the 1000 volume up. Okay, so what we're looking at here, traders, is the ES 1000 share bar on TradeStation or volume. Once again, it's very similar to what you see on the NQ. Okay, so we had a trade to go long, short, long, that you stayed in at long, and you can see here you get these incredible runs. Short signal goes short, okay, but where's your target going to be? 89 as a maximum. Why? Because you get your 89 bounces. So you got a 34 bounce, 34 bounce, 89 bounce. Now we're starting to roll over. That's what I wanted to give you here, as a little idea of what to look for. What is going to confirm that the market is actually rolling over? Well, when you get lower highs. So you can see here we've come down, we've bounced off the 89, gone up and bounced. We've got effectively a 34B. Now finally we're rolling over. We had another slightly higher high here, but then the market gave way, and what have you got there? You've got a T20. Away you go. Then you've got 34 bounce. Now let me just go along once again, just pointing out these higher lows, confirming a new trend direction. So you had a crossover here, so you've got a T20 here, but what normally happens, you go up there and bounce off these 89s. Now go back and start to mark these up each and every day and keep accurate stats, because what it does, it gives you a lot of confidence also. Now notice here, then we come down, we get a T1 confirmation, which is a high or low, which most of these, by the way, turn into T10s, and away we go. So this trade is the one where you're going to maximize your return. So go back here, this trade, your first is where you're going to maximize your return. Let's go here, that's going to be your best. So your first turns are going to be your best, of course. Okay, so you had one here. The other thing to consider is the further away from the 89 you are, the more likely are you to have a decent return. Why is that? Well, of course, you got further distance before you bounce. A couple other things, I'll give you a few little hints as well, is when you've got divergence. For an example, we had good strong divergence here. Divergence signals at least a change in trend in the short term. Now here you're going to romp your 6 to 8 ticks in on these trades. So the stats for the ES today, now this is just doing a quick calculation, is marking out quickly. There was 24 with trend trades for only 3 losses. So let me show you then with trend. So you can see your 34 distinguishes the trend along with the 89. You've gone up, you crossed back over. Okay, that is with the trend, as much as that only returned 5 ticks. Let's have a look here. Okay, this is a with trend trade. You've come down, you basically scraped it. Okay, you're in on this candle, which happened to also be a bounce, an 89. So there's a number of good trades you've got there. Now this is a really good example here of a good rollover. Now notice what we've got here, traders. We've got great angulation. For those that don't know what angulation is where you get the 8 moving well away from your 34 and forming a wedge, as you can see there. There's something else you want to ideally look for, and please write this down. Little tip for students and non-students is this: when you get price action moving away from the 8, as you can see here, this space here, you've got it there. Where's another one? Let me just show you. I want to show you some good examples. Well, there's one there, but we'll come across them as we go along. More likely you're going to have a really good pullback. Okay, so look for that. When you get those gaps, it's really obvious. For an example, on the NQ, you've got one here. So when you start to see these big gaps away from the 8, remember, like you see this here, there, see that? Bit of a gap there. There's a good signal that you're going to snap back. Okay, here, look at this. So just start to notice that. Now, by the way, that's counter trend trading in many cases. So I'm not saying as a new trader you jump on those, but it's a good signal that you may be about to get a reversal. So what do we do here? If you look at this, all this action here, and let me just get the just my little spotlight here, make it easy. Where is it? Just waiting for this to come up, traders. Okay, so see our cyan line, we're still heading down. Look at our 200 here, we're in a downtrend. So our short trades are here, we had one just on this side. So they're your with trend trades. Now basically that worked, your counter trend there worked on those, but there's a number of things there you do. But look at these with trends. So we've now got a trend. You're getting these pullbacks. Well, here of course you got a 34 bounce, 34 bounce, 34 bounce. That one failed, by the way. You got stopped out here, but turned into a 89B and a T20 counter trend. But what happened? These counter trends you don't want to take. Look how close you are to the 89 here, and you've had 1, 2. Now after you have a couple of failed trades, we are going to start to become interested in the counter trend ones. Why is that? It's more likely to have a failure. Okay, so look at this here, right? Winner, okay, failed. This counter trend here failed. 1. The second one failed. 2. Now after a couple of failures, what's going to happen? The stats are going to start to work in our favor. 3, and that was a really nice counter trend trade. Okay, so we come up here, you've got 1. Now you can see here with these trend trades, you've gone down under, you've crossed back up, is that these are really good profitable trades. You see, once again, look how close to the 89 is. So you had a failure back here, another failure. What's going to happen on the third one? Let's have a look up here. Bang, it works. But most importantly, look at these with trend ones. Okay, so how can we really squeeze our maximum profits out of these? When you're on the left hand side of the 8, wait until you get a cross back over, or you get a T1, a counter trend T1 signal. So we had a counter trend trade, which is a really sweet one. Then okay, bang, away we go. Okay, there's something here just why, and just before I wrap this up, and by the way, for my Forex traders, it works exactly the same on the Forex platform. Okay, so whether you're trading your range or your tick or your time, works on all markets. Now these here are time of day trades, and you may hear me talk about these. So at exactly 1 o'clock on the ES, look what happened, reversal point. So I mark up these. Now I don't tell people a lot of, and really heavily promote this, because what happens is it can become it's just another thing that traders can get confused by. But notice at 1 o'clock turned to 2 o'clock. Okay, the trend was confirmed at run. Now look at this, had a pullback. Next one is 220, away it went, and my next one is 3 o'clock, and let's see, I can't remember what happened at 3. Here we go, it reversed at 3. Okay, so there are certain trade times. I'm going to do a lot more, so for my students I'm going to do a lot more training on this. But once again, traders across the board, I'm showing you, like you've got here, you've got a 34 bounce here, you had one back here, you've got another 34B here, you've got one here. Now why would we want to take this one? You've got a T1 signal here, and it's a lower high. Go back and mark these up. When you start to get these, let me just try. No, I don't have them all marked up for you, but there's one there. Okay, so when you start to get these higher lows or lower highs with a T1 signal, okay, it's a really good indication here of a change in trend, or at least temporary change. Now that there, what if we jumped in there? Well, that was good for 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 ticks. Okay, 6 ticks is $75 per contract. So traders, a lot of this, as you know, we cover in the fast track program, and we comprehensively go in to give you over 12 different trading strategies, and every week I'm bringing out new training videos. I live for trading, it's my passion. What does that mean for you? Every week my students are being updated. I'm breaking it down, and as most of you know, I'm very expensive to hire in doing one-to-one training. $5,000 a day, but it's no more than what a good accountant or solicitor or attorney would charge you. However, what it does for you, my normal subscribers, is when you're belly to belly with a student, or even on Skype because they're in another country around the world, it really gets me thinking. Okay, they'll ask me a question, how can I do this better, what can I do? That really gets me thinking, and that's where a lot of these updates come from. So traders, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel. Invest $197 in your trading career. Go to my website. It's the best investment you'll ever make in your trading career. 12 of the world's best day trading and swing trading strategies. So and for my students, I'm going to bring out some more detailed videos for you and new cheat sheets on the T20, just with some new stuff I've put together, which I think you'll really enjoy. And students, please keep the testimonials coming. They're brilliant. Thank you.